is day 5 of your STAAR review, and in this video we will be discussing direct variation. Pythagorean theorem is discussed in a separate video. So what is direct variation? Direct variation is a way of writing a linear equation. Now this can be represented by the equation y equals kx, where k is constant. And k happens to be known as our constant of proportionality. So oftentimes you will be asked to find your constant of proportionality, and you can actually do this by, since right now I have k multiplying x, to find our constant of proportionality, I can divide by x on both sides. So I would start off with y equals kx, and then divide by x on both sides. This would cancel out. To find my constant of proportionality, we would now be doing y divided by x. So now looking at your foldable, this foldable should be pasted on page 5. And it would be going right here. So right now, this is all you should have written down in your foldable. So the first example, we are going to be finding the equation and then plugging in. So let's go ahead and get into that first example. So here it says, when y equals 1 over 4, x equals 5. If the value of y varies directly with x, what is the value of y when the value of x is 15? So we're first going to start off by looking at our equation, y equals kx, and we're going to be plugging in our x and y value. And this will allow us to find our constant of proportionality. This will allow us to find our equation, which we can then use here. So here it says y equals 1 over 4 when x equals 5. So y was 1 over 4, and this equals k times our x value, which is 5. So again, I'm trying to find the value of k. So right now, when I multiply by 5, it equals 1 over 4. So I want to single k out. So to do that, I need to divide by 5 on both sides. When I do that, this cancels out, and I get k equals 1 over 4. So for starters, I'm going to do control divide. And on top, I have 1 over 4, and on the bottom, I'm dividing this by 5. And there I get 1 over 20. So k equals 1 over 20. Now again, this is just my constant of proportionality. Now that I have found this, I can plug this into my equation to find the value of y here. So here, y equals kx, k times x. We are finding the value of y when it equals our k value is 1 over 20, our constant of proportionality, when our x value is 15. So now I'm going to plug this in my calculator, 1 over 20 times 15. So control divide, 1 over 20, and then times 15. And here we have now gotten 3 over 4. So y equals 3 over 4 when x equals 15, which means B is my answer. So now looking at your foldable, this is everything you should have written down for example number 1. So that was doing the equation and plugging it in. And now we're going to go ahead and look at box and tail. So this is going to be number 2. So it says when y equals 35, x equals 2.5. If the value of y varies directly with x. Now if you see the words y varies directly with x, you know that it's going to be a direct variation equation. And it says what is the value of y when the value of x is 3 1/4. So again, we're doing box and tail here. And this happens to be a majority of our favorites. We love to do box and tail over any of the other types of solving these types of questions. So we're going to have our y values on top and our x values on bottom. So here it says when y equals 35, x equals 2.5. Now here's a problem. We don't want to put this mixed number in here just because it might confuse some of us, and when we put it in our calculator, we're going to put it in incorrectly. We want to go ahead and start off by converting this to a decimal. So whenever you're converting this into a decimal, you want to start off by putting your whole number, which is 2, and you want to add the fraction. So 2 plus control divide, 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and we want to convert this to a decimal, so menu to 1, and we get 2.5. So here, x, the decimal equivalent, is 2.5. And here it says we want to know what the value of y is, so this is what we're looking for. when x is 3 1/4. Okay, again, we have to convert this to a decimal. So we're going to press 3 plus control divide, 1 on top, 4 on the bottom, and then we're going to press menu to 1. And here we get 3.25. So the value of x is 3.25. So now we want to find the value of y. So here now I have to cross multiply and then divide. So I'm cross multiplying. So 35 times 3.25 equals 113.75. Now that I have cross multiplied, I now want to divide by this my extra number, which is 2.5. So 113.75 divided by 2.5, we get 45.5. So the value of y equals 45.5, which means that D is my answer. So now looking at our foldable here for box and tail, this is everything you should have written down. Okay, so again, all we do is cross multiply and divide after we have finished setting this up. So that was example number 2 using box and tail. Now we're going to look at the equation and table example. So here it says, in the incomplete table below, the value of y varies directly with the value of x. Which value of y completes the table? Completes this table? So again, our equation was y equals kx, and to find our constant of proportionality, to find what we are multiplying x by to get our y value, we can simply do k equals y divided by x. So here we have our x values, and here we have our y values. And again, we are doing y divided by x. So our y value is 7, and we're dividing this by our x value, which is 2. And 7 divided by 2 equals 3.5. So this is my constant of proportionality. I am multiplying my x value 2 by 3.5, and it equals 7. So now I can use that number, my constant of proportionality, to multiply my x value 5.5. So I'm going to multiply it by 3.5, and that will give me my missing number. So now 5.5 times 3.5 equals 19.25. So going down here to my answer choices, H is my answer. So looking at our foldable now, this is everything you should have written down for number 3. So lastly, we have a method of our choice, and the majority of us like to do a box and tail, so that's what we're going to go ahead and stick with. We're going to keep using box and tail. I really do like this method. I think it's really great if we have it set up as a table. But again, we're going to go ahead and look at example 4, and we're going to use box and tail to solve this. So again, we're going to go ahead and set up our box and tail. And it says, Mr. Durant wrote the following 2 statements on a chalkboard. When y equals 4.8, x equals 3.8. The value of y varies directly with x. If both statements are true, what is the value of y when the value of x is 7? So again, we're going to put our y's on top, x's on the bottom. When y equals 4.8, x equals 3. The value of y, what is the value of y? So that's what we're looking for when the value of x is 7. So again, here we're going to cross multiply and divide. So 4.8 times 7 equals 33.6. Now all that's left for me to do is divide by this number here, 3. 33.6 divided by 3 equals 11.2. So here the value of y is 11.2 when x is 7. So I'm going to put it in exactly as it appears here. So 11.2. Okay, so lastly, going ahead and looking at your foldable, this is everything you should have written down for example number 4. Again, that was our foldable going over the Pythagorean theorem. So if you have watched both the video on direct variation and Pythagorean theorem, then you are good to go. You can now complete your assignment. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us.